So, event planners, caterers, venue owners, creatives, listen up. You spent years building your business and using your expertise right now to possibly have an additional income stream is something that you are potentially considering. And the thing about it is that that is very possible for you. And so, in today's conversation, we're going to be having a really great discussion about how to turn your expertise into coaching or a consulting offer that can help with bringing in additional income and helping you learn at the same time. So you might be thinking, where do I even start? Who do I teach? Is my knowledge even valuable enough to charge? Today, I'm going to be sitting down with Jasmine and we're going to have a really honest conversation about how you can start making or taking the first steps towards using your expertise to be able to make some additional income. So, you want to pull out some paper, get ready to take some notes, and really get a chance to learn more about this conversation. So, thank you so very much for being a guest today, Jasmine.
Thank you for having me.
So, share a little bit about what you do, and we'll jump right into this conversation.
Ooh, what don't I do? So, I've been an event planner for over 10 years professionally. I've been an event space owner for about 8 years. Now, I still do event planner. I still own event spaces, but I help people to monetize their talents with opening up event businesses, whether it's a profitable event planning or a profitable event space. And it's heavy on profitable because a lot of people think being booked and busy is the move, but most of them are booked, busy, and broke. So I teach
Yeah.
my people how to be paid, prosperous, and peaceful.
Perfect. And I'm glad you said that because I feel that busy can equate to growth for some people because they're like, I'm busy all the time, I'm busy
Hmm.
all the time. But if you don't understand how profitable your business is, you can be busy, you can even be making more money, but you can also be less profitable as well if you're not present to what it really takes for you to run your business.
Yes, exactly.
So I had this really cool statistic that I thought would be impactful for some of the listeners today. It said that the global coaching industry is valued at $4.6 billion dollars and it's growing 6.7% annually. And more people are looking for answers and they're looking for the right kinds of coaches to be able to support them with hitting those answers. I mean, hitting those goals. So what made you decide to actually start your journey with consulting? Or, I mean, you've been doing, of course, the actual activity, but what made you sit there and think to yourself, maybe I could start coaching people or consulting people on how to go about doing this?
They want to stop calling me.
They were coming after you.
So So initially, it started with I had a couple of calls as an event planner,
Mhm.
but as an event space owner, that's when it skyrocketed. I had people calling me. I was in Ohio. I live in Texas now. My event space is still in Ohio, but I had people calling me from Maryland, Virginia, Texas, etc., calling me, asking me how to open up an event space, asking me to, walk them through. I also had people that were in my city who would call and ask. And then I had people, they would just watch what I did and they would kind of mimic it. Eventually, I started offering, I had offers because initially I would just talk on the phone with them for hours, giving them advice for free. But I got things to do. I got business to run. I got kids. I got, and at the time I had a job. So
Yeah.
my money, my time was valuable. So I started charging. And I only started out with like $2.95 for a consultation. And then it just went from there.
So when you first started sharing your journey, did you start sharing your journey to possibly attract people that will want to consult? Because I feel like some people, it just happens to be because you're really doing a great job of promoting what you do. That's what's attracting the people to ask questions. Or did you start out with really talking about sharing from a perspective that people will want to reach out to you to start coaching them?
No, I was just working. That was it.
Okay.
I was just working. Initially, when I started my event space business, nobody knew that it was mine. I was just
Mm.
promoting it. It looked like just somebody just saying, "Hey, check this place out." And I think maybe like 6 months to a year into it, that's when I said, "Hey, y'all, this is actually my business." Blah blah. I appreciate the support. And then I would just continue to just work, getting clients in and out. I got most of my stuff through word of mouth. I pay for some advertising here and there, but the majority of it was word of mouth. A lot of people go into it just thinking like, oh, I'm going to get 6 figures. I need to do 6 figures. I don't know what the internet's obsession with 6 figures is, but that is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not a lot of I was just doing what I like to do, and
Yeah.
I ended up getting 6 figures, and I didn't even know. My accountant was like, "Hey, girl, you hit 6 figures this year. You can officially say you're a six-figure earner." And I'm like, "Well, where it go?"
Exactly. The way these operating costs are operating.
Okay. But, yeah, so I never intended to be a teacher. I'm not really, like, a people person. Event space and event planning was perfect because I could use my talents quietly. I didn't need the recognition. I would set up and I would disappear, and they'd be like, "Oh, who did this?" And they'd be like, "Where'd the girl go?" And I
Yeah.
just come back to clean up and stuff like that. And they were like, "Here she is, this the girl." Like, but I just did everything behind the scenes. It was perfect for me. I didn't need the attention. And then, I mean, just working in everyday business, you start to develop skills. Networking was one of the skills that I had to develop because again,
Yeah.
I was an introvert. I just, did my thing and I slid out.
Yeah.
So yeah, people just started reaching out, like, "How are you doing this?" Even now I've had people call me like, "How's your event space still open and everybody else closed?" And I'm like, I don't know how to take that. Like, is you looking for me to close?
Exactly.
like, what's up?
So I'm glad that you had that transparent share because the thing is the first part you mentioned was that you were just working. You were just showing yourself working. Like I feel that in the beginning we overcomplicate the sharing our journey because you will attract
hmm
clients, but you also can potentially track the people that will want to work with you as coach down the road if that's something that's been on the radar. And like when you were just sharing that you are working, was it like kind of making doing like the behind the scenes videos and things like that? That was really what started laying that groundwork when you were shown like one, I'm sure it helped you with attracting clients, but it also was laying that beginning foundation for people to be curious for some more assistance.
So initially, it was just me trying to make sure that I had clients coming in to book my event space or book my event planning services, and then other people. I've even had previous clients call me. I did this girl's baby shower, and she was like, "I know you know what you're doing. You already have children, and I have this is my first child, and at this point, I need something else. Like working
Mm,
and not being around my child isn't working for me."
mhm.
And that's how she reached out to me, but she wanted me to tell her for free. And at that point, I had already started charging. So yeah, that kind of didn't work out. but I mean, so I had just, people who just knew that I was doing it. And
Yeah,
then I don't know how they would look up event spaces and call and say, "Hey, I'm not your competition. I'm in Maryland." I'm like, "Girl, I don't care if you are or not." Cause I mean, I
yeah,
don't see competition with anything. Like,
yeah,
it's a girl that opened up next door to me and we cordial. I talk to her. If I'm in town, I'll stop by if she's there or whatever. But I don't see competition because what God has for me is for me. And I mean, if I catch you slipping, what God has for you might be for me too, because
yeah.
God got to get a gift somewhere. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
that's good to share because I think that when we first get started, often when I talk to people with some of my consulting things, I feel that we make things so much more complicated than just getting started and just documenting what we're doing. Like, I would love to know, like, people started with consulting, like, just wanting to ask questions and do strategy sessions with you. Were you
hmm
sitting here thinking, like, oh, now I need to do a course? Like, I mean, I feel like that's what happens is like people jump like 5 steps ahead instead of like, okay, people are talking to me now. Let me focus on that. Did you feel like you had clarity on like structure on how to go about doing this before you did it?
No, so initially, like I said, I was giving away free information. I would be on the
Mhm.
phone with strangers for hours, telling them, step by step what to do, answering their millions of questions, and then it was getting in the way. Like
Yeah.
I was doing other things. I'm in my venue cleaning, taking the tablecloths, flipping for the next event, and I'm on the phone with this
Right.
strange person, giving
Right.
them literally millions of dollars worth of game,
Yeah.
and it was too much. I couldn't give out any more free time at that
Yeah.
point. So then the next person they called, I was like, "Oh yeah, let me send it to you," and I put it on my website and I sent them the link, and that's just kind of how it went. I started out with just phone calls, and then
Mhm.
I took like a year and a half to write an ebook, and the only
Mhm.
thing that made me actually finish writing the ebook, because I went to write it like 3 different times. The
Okay.
thing that made me actually sit down and finish it is I went to do a consultation for somebody in Fort Worth, which was an hour away from me.
Mm.
And then I had to drive an hour back, go to somebody else's location. And the Fort Worth location, I was there for about 5 hours, and then
Oh.
drive an hour back and then go we meet with somebody else. I was there for about maybe like an hour and a half, two, and then drive 45 minutes home. And I said, "Oh, baby, we're not about to do this." And that's when I wrote the ebook. And so
Yeah.
I just made like a couple of posts, like, "I finally finished this ebook, blah, 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 whatever, whatever." And they was like, "Where's that? Send me the link, send me the link." And so I think I like sold like six of them for $50 a piece. And I was like, "All
Mhm.
right, cool, we can roll with this." So, I
I
mean,
I like that you did that because 'cause I've even started to see with the like, I'm not sure if you see that there's this wave, with balloon stylists now, because at one
mhm,
point, I feel like maybe like definitely during the sometime between now and the pandemic, I would see these backhanded posts about if you want Amazon, then you're losing quality and all these different things, and I think for some people, a light bulb went on when they were like, okay, well, they obviously just want to buy kits. I can do a training video for the people, these clients that don't have the money to pay me to do it,
mhm,
but I can do like these balloon kits. And I feel that I've been seeing more creative solutions in the event industry for DIY made and the DIY clients and people are like, okay,
mhm.
instead of me losing money, because I think that that's in the beginning when you might just you're just getting into planning or you're getting into floral and things of that nature. We're just trying to make money. But then at some point, we're looking at ways like how you just mentioned, you realize like I'm driving, I was here for 5 hours. I'm in the car for 2 to 3 hours. And if you haven't been in Texas, like that's straight road, not fun. Because I'm in Dallas as well and it's a lot to do that back and forth, and it's not until you realize, like, I'd rather do something else with my time, and so for some people, their solution is coming up with a product, and then it's for others, it's
Mhm.
coming up with, "Okay, let me do this ebook, let me do consulting services," but I think at some point within business, it comes down, how do you maximize your time? Because we all have a certain amount of time, and with family, friends, within what we're doing as our craft, and we don't if you don't find a solution, then you will burn yourself out.
Most definitely. So for me, they kind of people will tell you what they want.
Mm,
They'll tell you, and then I feel like I actually have the credibility. I've opened up several event spaces on my own. I sat on the phone hours coaching people to open up their event spaces. It worked. So obviously I know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
So and then people will go and pay somebody else more for less information. So and if they don't want to pay me, that's perfectly fine. I
yeah,
can't I have children. I have a life. Like I have other things that I'm doing. I can't necessarily just give away free time. I do that. I'm a part of nonprofit organizations. I give away free time that way, but I can't. And I'm
yeah,
giving you information that is guaranteed to make you six figures. Like I literally made six figures on accident. Figured out how the heck I did it, and now I know exactly what to do to make six figures in the same industry that people are closing within
yeah.
6 to 12 months. I used to say 12 months, but now they're closing in 6 months.
Yeah, they're
So,
faster, yeah, yeah. But you know
and
where
so I
that's
mean, I've
coming
been open for 8 years.
But you know what it is? It's because and a lot of times people don't go to the individuals that do know something when it comes to venue spaces. Like I've met people that bought venues and I've worked with them on setting up their system and they tell me more about the space and I'm like, "Ooh, that doesn't sound like a wise investment." And so like working with a coach or paying for a strategy session, like it's worth so much because I feel like sometimes people even select places that no parking. Like and it's you have this big venue and there's no parking. What are you planning on doing
Mhm.
there? Or you got this big venue and there's one bathroom. And so in this day and age where commercial space is not cheap by no means, I mean, you might be, depending on the market and where you are, you might be able to find, like, you may find someone that's really anxious to offload the property and they'll give you a discount or something
Mhm.
like that. But I would definitely say it's 6 months to a year due to the fact of like how you started this conversation, a profitable business. Because if you're grabbing spaces that is going to make it so much more harder for you to actually make profit, then it's going to be this dredge of a situation. And so, like working with someone like you, it saves you time because I feel like sometimes we get so attached to the dollar amount, but we're not thinking about the time we're losing by not paying someone.
Most definitely. And I'm
So,
all about my time.
I get that. I get that wholeheartedly. So, a lot of event pros feel like coaching is a big, intimidating thing or a big, intimidating world, more to say. What are some of the mental blocks that you had to overcome when stepping into this new role?
For me, I always think like, what if it doesn't work? Like, what if they
Mhm,
don't get what I'm super big on giving over overproducing. So I'll underpromise and I'll overproduce, and that helps. Is I still struggle with it to this day. You have to think I have a mentorship that's $1,000, but it's a three
mm,
month mentorship, so really that's cheap.
yeah.
But to a lot of people, $1,000 is a lot of money. This lady told me like I saved up for your mentorship. I was
Mm,
like, oh girl, I had wrote you off as a long time, but she was saving up. She didn't say anything. She
yeah.
just was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how much, and then she just left me on red. And like months later, she was like, I'm ready. I got the money. I'm ready now. What's up? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm on top of it more than they are, so sometimes that
Mm,
gets annoying. But just me wanting to make sure that like they get what I said that they were going to get, and
mm,
sometimes it gets nerve wracking when you're telling somebody to do X, Y, and Z, and they don't even do it, and
yes.
they don't even do ABC. So
Yeah.
that's the
That is
hardest thing to get
That is
over.
so true. And if I had to be transparent, like that's why I personally had stopped doing group coaching like several years ago was I mean, there's other ways I do things inside my business, but it was and this is something for coaching. And granted, there's so many levels to it. Doing ebooks, doing like there's wide range of ways to monetize your expertise. But I did a mastermind group. I love the
Mhm.
people that were in it, but it's also I was attaching at one point their action or lack of action, let's better say, the lack of action, because the reality of it is that some people won't do enough to change their outcome or their reality.
Exactly.
And when you really want to like when you're really wanting for people to get the breakthroughs that they want to get, it almost makes you like sad. In the beginning, it used to make me feel sad because I'm like, man, if they just did it, they'd be able to get the results they want, but they get these mind blocks that don't allow for them to actually walk into the result that they could get.
Yeah, exactly. They got to change it from results driven to just information driven. Like, I'm giving you the information, do with it as you please,
Mm.
and detach yourself from the result. And that is so hard
It
because
is.
you want to see it through. So, yeah,
Very,
it's a
very
struggle.
true. It is.
It's a
um,
struggle.
It is. I'm glad we're sharing this because I think that this is a real struggle that some people that may have tried to do it and they hit this resistance and they thought to themselves, like, no one else understands. But no, like everyone has different specialties. And I think ultimately, too, like how you said, like it all comes down to how you want to use your time. I love doing group
Mhm.
coaching because it's the best use of time, especially when we don't have a lot of it. One of the things that sometimes get in the way with doing this is like the mental barriers. And there's this fear of like, what if no one wants to learn from me? That keeps people from
Mm.
actually promoting that they can help them. What would you say to the event professional listening who feels like they're not qualified enough to coach or consult?
From my experience, there's always somebody who needs a little bit more information. If you've been able to succeed in what you're doing, then obviously if it's working for you, you could be helping somebody else. And then a lot of times our let me see what word I want to use. Insecurities about our gifts, our talents, our knowledge is robbing somebody else of getting that knowledge.
Yeah.
God put you in a place so that you can learn it, and it's not really for you, it's for somebody else. Like, we go through things so that we can help other people when it's their turn. So, if you've had an issue with disputes and you've figured out the code to combat in disputes, that could be your selling point. Like, "Oh, yeah, I know how to, I'm the dispute
Queen.
warrior. I know
Yeah.
how to," you know? You see what I'm saying? You just that little tidbit of information that you know and it works for you can set you apart. There's somebody who may have just got started and they
Yeah.
need that information. It may be somebody who's started and they've been in the game longer than you, but they haven't been able to master that.
Yeah.
It's always we always have to remain teachable.
Yeah. And sharing where you are. Like that's what I just heard from you. Like knowing like where you are, because
Mhm.
sometimes it's like, oh, I haven't mastered, 7, 8 figure business, so I can't share like that. Like like statistically, most businesses don't make it over a year. And most businesses don't make over 100,000 in revenue a year. That's why there's that 6 figure business is because most businesses do
Mhm.
not actually make it over 100,000, and like 5% of businesses do not make it over 250K in revenue. So
Mhm.
that's why there's this like hit 6 figures. And the thing is wherever you are is just sharing where you are because there's someone that wants to. And I love that you said is like God is working through you. So like there's someone that wants
Mhm.
to get to even where you are to have the knowledge that you have right now. So I love that you said that. This is going to be one of the big things I feel that gets in the way is like structuring your offer or structuring the offer. So this is where I
Mhm.
feel event pros like struggle with the how. So okay, people are reaching out to me, and now what? So how did you figure out what you wanted to teach? And how did you structure your very first offer?
So initially, it just started with them calling me, asking me questions, me walking them through things,
Mhm.
and then I put it on the link that this is what you're gonna learn, and it
Yeah.
was basically based off of the questions that I had already been answering and what they were trying to do. They were just trying to open up. They didn't even want
Mm.
to make 6 figures. They were just trying to figure out how do I find a space and how do I open it up. And I tell people if you can find somewhere to live, you can find somewhere to have an event space. I mean, it's a little bit more detailed than that, but
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal.
Were
So
you
I started out with that, like, I mean, get your first event space.
were you did you say just posted a link? So were you doing it on like a stand store, Calendly, or how were you? Because again,
Mm-mm.
some of these listeners
Girl,
are gonna be able.
Stan Store was not Stan Store was not even heard of at this time. So
Okay.
it was through my website. So basically, they would call me on my business phone. Remember, they're just looking up event spaces, and they like, "Hey, girl, can you help me?" Or it was somebody who booked
Mm,
the event space previously, and they're like, "Hey, girl, can you help me?" And I was just like, "Okay, cool." I would sit on the phone with them, and then the next person they called, I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna send it to you." I remember vividly. I was driving down the street. I was driving down this hill in Cincinnati, and I
okay.
was like, "Okay, just give me a second. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna text it to this number." I got off the
Wow.
phone. When I got stationary, I went on my website. My website is through Wix. I went on my website and I just typed something real quick,
Mhm.
put the price, sent them the link, and that was it. So
So
yeah,
simple and not
it worked
overly
like that.
complicated. Because I'm sure you've
No,
spoken to people and they think that when they first start this, now I have to go get a Kajabi. Like, no, just use what you have.
yeah, that's exactly what I did. I just used what I had, and I didn't even do Zoom. They weren't even gonna see my face. They would just call me, and we would just sit on the phone, and I would just answer their questions. I would get them the information. Now I do use Zoom. I do have a stand store, but I have a Wix site still. I still have my Wix
Mhm.
site. And I use Stan to like sell digital products and etc. But I haven't posted my Stan link in so daggone long. It's because it just don't make sense for me to have both. Yeah. I'm real, I'm big on simplistic, keep it simple, do it well. That's my thing. Just keep it simple, do it well. So I try to streamline everything because if you're all over the place,
Yeah.
that's time, money, resources that you're dishing out, and I need all of mine. So
No, I love that you shared that because it is keeping it simple in the beginning for sure. I mean, and as you've done it longer, you've been able to figure out what works well for you with being able to do
Mhm.
this. Like I one of my goals for 2026 is to actually embrace Stan Store a little bit more than what I have been doing. I feel like
Mhm.
I'm using it as a paid version of Linktree right now when I know I can be using it for a lot more. But it ultimately comes down to really finding something that, like you said, that you can master and keep it simple so that you just don't get.
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes when we overcomplicate things in the beginning, we just don't even get started due to that.
Yeah, definitely. It makes it discouraging because you're got your hands in so many pots all over the place, and you might touch on this and you touch on that, and then nothing really gets finished. So,
Mhm.
but in my defense, I do have a link tree. I do have a stand store. I do have a beacons that I do not use. I was just trying to figure it out so I can help somebody. And
Yeah.
then I do have Wix.
Okay.
Considering consolidating everything into a go high level, I'm just trying to figure out what's the most cost effective and the most simplistic. So,
Yeah, and the thing is
testing the
with
waters.
picking out the best system, sometimes it's cost effective, like from the front perspective of it, but also thinking about from the time perspective. Like I always tell people, like, I don't care
Mhm.
what platforms you use, but it needs to be efficient because time is money. So if it's taking me time to move something from here to there and like that it automatically slows
Mhm.
us down when we all have limited time for something to be a little bit more expensive, but it allows for me to have more efficiency is always going to be something I sign up for like 1,000%. And I know there's a bunch of different
All the
platforms or
time.
like there's a lot of platforms out there and people like, oh, but you talk about this one. I'm like, I don't care which one you use. I need you to use something though. Like that's what I'm like, I need you to use something.
Mhm.
Use something
Yeah.
and use
So
it
for me, I
efficiently.
like Wix.
Yeah.
I like Wix. I started got into Stan Store when got into digital marketing. I was like, "Oh, okay, that seems easy, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever." And I was trying not to confuse the people who are booking the event space. I'm already confusing them because I'm like Cincinnati
Mm,
or Dallas. But then I got my digital offerings, my consultation. I was trying to
mhm.
not to confuse them, so I put it on Stan Store,
Mhm.
but then I still ended up putting it on Wix because I have Sezzle.
Yeah,
Instead of paying $99 a month, I only pay $39 a month
yeah,
on Stan. But
yeah,
it still kind of adds up.
yeah,
So I think go high level might be my
yeah,
next move because I
mhm,
can put everything on one, but
yeah.
it can still be separate. So
Yeah, no, I love that, and you're researching what's gonna be the best for you, and one of the things I'm glad that you just mentioned about sometimes, like, you knowing where are some of the, I guess, pinpoints and or pain points, that's the best word I wanna use, so pain points of making sure we're not confusing our client and like a client for our services with the people that do our services because I feel like sometimes that can be a disconnect because I've especially on Instagram I'll look at caterers they do this like they'll say a lot of backhanded comments about clients on their catering page and I'm like are you entertaining
mhm.
your fellow caterers or you wanting to attract clients. So how do you balance communicating to both, I guess, on the same platforms? Or do you have different like brand identities, I guess you say, when you're doing the coaching side of your life compared to the services side?
So I have a personal brand and then I have a business brand. So my personal brand that's like real fun, like cousin vibes. My
Yes.
business brand is kind of like more sassy professional. I don't even want to say sassy. It kind of gives like Sweet Valley High professional type deal. But I have like 7 or 8 Instagrams.
Oh.
So my Cincinnati venue has an Instagram, my Dallas venue has an Instagram, my personal brand has an Instagram. And then they all have their own separate Facebook pages that's connected to it. And then I got like 6 TikToks.
Mm. Really?
But everything goes into, yeah, it goes into like different, and that's why I wanted to streamline everything like on the website so that it could still be connected but
Hmm.
separate
Hmm.
because I can't talk to Dallas and then talk to Cincinnati. I have a brunch in Dallas
Yeah.
December 7th, and then a brunch in Cincinnati, December 14th. So when I'm talking to the people, it's pretty much the same, but it's different because the dates are different, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. And then my Cincinnati one, this is like the fourth or fifth annual one, and then this is the second. This is the second. Oh, this is the third one. Yeah, this will be the third one. So
Okay.
it's a little bit different, but it's still the same. So I just the social media aspect is differentiated, but on
Yeah.
the website it's all just
One.
it's
Okay.
professional. So it all makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes a ton of sense. And for anyone that just thought, how long did it take for you? Because I don't want for someone to listen to think, oh my gosh, I got to create all these social platforms. I'm sure that that's not where you started. What made you, when did you
Yep.
realize that you needed to? Because, you know, like some people are going to hear this and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to create all this. I'm barely keeping up with one platform. When did you realize you needed to start branching out to those different, like different pages and brand identities?
So initially, I just started out with one or two of each social media platform. So I had one personal and then one business. And
Yeah.
then when I start, that was just for my event planning. But then when I got the venue, I had a separate social media for that one. So
Hmm.
that created the third round. And then I just started opening up multiple businesses. So
Hmm.
I was just separating everything. And then when I tried to put everything in one, it just kept getting confusing
Different.
for
Yeah.
some people. So I had to keep it separate. And then I moved to Dallas. And again, you talking to different audiences. So
Yeah.
they'll get confused. So yeah, that's how I ended up with that. But then I monetized on all of my social media platforms. So I
But
kind of
but
I get
that's
more money.
good. Yeah, no, no, I mean, but that's the good part. Like, I think is great because, but considering that everyone's going to be in different stages and, you know, some people get stopped. Like, we have to be real. Like, people get stopped at the beginning stage. I did not want for someone that's barely posting once a week to hear, like, because some people will focus on how many pages compared to the fact of the clarity on each page. And I think that it's important for us when we're marketing, we do need to know that there's differences based on regions and the type of
Mhm.
content you're putting out there because where there is confusion, you automatically will slow down the action that you want that potential client to take. So I think it's brilliant that you do it that way. Do you use any platforms to help you managing doing all of that, or do you do it manually?
Both. So at
Okay.
one point when I was pregnant with my last child, I think that was during 2022, it was towards the end of the pregnancy. I had a social media manager. She would come down, shoot content of the venue. We'll have a marketing plan. She would post the content and everything like that. We did that for 3 months. And then once the contract was over, it went back to me
Mhm.
taking over. But that is super helpful. So if anybody struggles with like posting content, just get somebody else to do it. But there are several platforms. I've used Planoly, I've used HubSpot, Hootsuite,
Mhm.
and then Meta platforms.
Mhm.
So like the business suite, I do use that. I do schedule my posts, and I don't schedule them all the time. Sometimes I'll just sit and schedule for the week,
Mhm.
and then once that week is over, I'm back to like free posting or whatever the case may be. But
Yeah.
scheduling helps tremendously. I just don't do it all the time. So
Okay.
if you're starting out and posting content is a problem or it's a struggle for you, schedule it or get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
I would say start with one platform and just focus on that one thing. For me, I have to focus on multiple things because I have multiple things that make me money
Yeah.
and I'm in two different locations. So if I was only in Dallas and I did planning and had an event space in Dallas, I would just use one
Yeah.
page. That would be it. But I also have a personal brand that funnels into all of my businesses and then they all funnel back into me. So
Yeah.
it kind of works out. So sometimes I could post on one page and just connect it to the other ones.
Yeah.
Things are a lot different now because you can have a
Yep.
collaboration on Instagram,
Yep.
and they just added it to TikTok too.
Yeah.
So that helps tremendously.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they just added it to TikTok. I think it's like a slow rollout,
Oh,
so
okay.
not everybody has it. I
Okay.
don't really use it, so I don't even know if I have it or not. And I got like 5 TikToks anyway, so
Okay.
but I don't really know if I have it or not. But yeah, so you can I'll create content in CapCut, like do my
Mhm.
editing in CapCut
Mm.
and take it and post that same video on TikTok, Instagram, on YouTube, and wherever else it needs to go. It just worked. I copy the caption and everything. Like except
Mhm.
for on YouTube, you gotta shorten it a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that with, Meta Business Suite that you can pre-schedule on Instagram as well as on Facebook. I love Metrical, that's what I use for scheduling
Hmm.
all of my content. It just makes life easier, like, rarely Like,
Mm.
I would say TikTok, I'm more of the like, I do the on the go. I recently actually deleted TikTok. I mean, not TikTok, I deleted all of the other social platforms off of my phone. I only can access them on my laptop because I had to protect my peace. I'm like, "I can't." I was like, because I will see something and I'm gonna respond recklessly. It's like, I have to use scheduling for it, but even for someone that's listening, I love Metrical, but I do think that using Facebook Creator Studio is a great resource if you don't want to pay for a scheduler because you can select songs. That's the benefit to using TikTok, using Facebook Creator compared to a third party like Metrical. You can't really tag music. The
Yeah.
actual content has to already have it on there. I do, like you said, my content editing on CapCut. So you still have a good amount of audio that you can download from CapCut while you're editing your video. But at least on Creator Studio, you can tag a song that you want without having to have it actually on that video. So just in case for some people
Well,
that
if
are,
you're using CapCut, you could just screen record the song and then extract that audio into CapCut.
see, you just get people some tips too on that. So that,
Yeah, I'm a CapCut girly.
and I need to I started doing CapCut on myself on my laptop, and it's really been a game changer for me too. I do CapCut laptop as well
See,
as
I
the
do it
mobile.
on my phone. I did it on my laptop once or twice. I did
Mm,
it for one of my YouTube videos, and it was just so tedious trying to get it off of the camera onto the computer into CapCut
mm,
and connect my CapCut from my phone to my laptop. And
so
it was a
much.
mess. I prefer it on my phone.
And here's the benefit for, like, me because because I schedule through Metrical, so when I do the editing, I can
Mhm.
download it and then put it right into Metrical. So that's where
Oh,
I'm not, like, downloading it to then put it on my phone. But I think ultimately it just comes down to what's gonna be the most effective and efficient for for anybody. So one of the things I do want to make sure I ask are, like, for anyone that's listening, what are some practical ways event business owners can turn what they already know into income? You mentioned you did calls, but some people do mini courses, ebooks, VIP days, templates, coaching, group coaching kind of things. What would you recommend for someone that's looking to do something practical with actually adding an additional income stream?
I mean, whatever is the easiest for them, to be honest. Me writing that ebook, that was pretty time consuming because I
Yeah.
was real big on not giving them the first page of Google because I paid $30 for an ebook, which was literally the first page of Google.
Oh,
And then they're like, oh, you could pay me $500 to learn more. And I'm like, girl. So
yeah.
I was again, I want to overproduce. I'm super extra anyway with everything I
Mhm.
do. So I just want to overproduce. That's probably why I got 3 kids. Just had to overdo it. But anyway, I'm super extra with everything that I do. So whatever is more comfortable for you. So initially the calls were just easy because they were calling me anyway. So I'm
Mhm.
just like, oh, okay. I didn't have to set up any systems or anything like that. You can even tell people like to Cash App you or however, whatever you want to do, and they can send it to you. I pay somebody through Cash App like $25 for maybe like a 30-minute call, and they call. I sent my phone number. I sent the screenshot of Cash App. They called me. We had our little phone call. I took notes. That was it. You could get as creative as you want to do, and you can be as lazy as you want to be, actually, because
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, you have to do the work. So some
Yeah.
people, they want like this whole elaborate setup, or they're like, oh, let me do this course. I've been avoiding actually
Yeah.
creating a course. I'm supposed to do it by Monday. So,
By Monday,
yeah,
like,
I'm working on a school course, getting started. I'm working on a school course. So this is my plan. I am going to host mini classes for like $20. You pay me $20. We get on a Zoom call. It's gonna be a group class. And I'm just gonna go through like small pieces of it. You get this $20. If you just need to know how to find the location, pay me
mm,
$20. Boom, here we go. If you need to
okay,
know like what the next steps and you need to know this $20, here goes. I'm doing it like every Thursday, but
okay,
starting December 4th for about
okay.
4 weeks. And I'm going to use those videos to put into my modules on my school community. So, because
Mm,
I don't like doing nothing for free.
I
So
like that. So
I'm going to
you're
get paid to
paid
get
to
paid.
create the modules. Yeah, I love that. Okay, see, she's dropping nuggets for y'all.
Yeah.
Pick up what she's putting down.
Yeah. So
I love that.
I'm super big on working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
I wanna do the least amount of work for the most amount of money, but I
Mhm.
also wanna give good quality. So
Yeah.
that's just where I'm at. I'm just like one of those like people that I want to give you good quality, but I don't want to work myself into the ground doing it, and I don't want to do
Mhm.
nothing for free. Like when I first moved to Dallas, well, not when I first, but when I needed to figure out Dallas, I DoorDashed so I can, get to know like the neighborhoods and areas. So I was getting paid to drive around because first of all, gas is high, and
Yes.
it helped. So I mean, I was
Yeah.
getting paid. Like I can't. I got too many kids to do stuff for free.
And 3 like, I babysit my 3 little cousins. Let me tell you, the stamina you
Hmm.
have, ma'am, 'cause I always leave and I'm like, "I do not see how people do that." Like, I watched them for 14 days. By day
Girl,
10, I'm like, "Why did I say?" 'Cause
day
it's
10. At least you made it to day 10.
I just my mom
You
my
watching
my
some good
energy
kids.
level no, like, it's I can no longer talk myself out of the joy I should be feeling by day 10 because by
Mm-mm.
then
I got
I made it through a weekend, you know? So it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I got some kids that I will watch for 5 hours, and I will be ready to put them on the curb, so but my children are amazing. My children are amazing. I got a 14-year-old, a 9-year-old, and my daughter just turned 3
Okay.
weeks ago, so she 3 going on 30, but they're pretty chill. Like, it's
Mhm.
I don't really have any complaints about them, so I'm
Yeah.
blessed, but that daughter probably gonna be the death of me because we like twins.
Kindred spirits. But so I'm glad you shared that again because the thing is that I feel that sometimes people will assume that because I have children or because my life looks like this or because I have these things that I can't do that. So I know that there's going to be someone that listens that that's going to feel like, wow, like I can still have these things, but then honor the time I actually have and use it effectively so that I'm able to make income. But I'm sure that there's been learning lessons through this process. So what mistakes have you experienced through starting your own coaching and consultation services?
First of all, you have to know what you want to offer, what result you want to give,
Mm.
and give exactly that. A lot of times I want to over give, and that decreases my income because that's a whole nother service.
Yeah.
So that decreases my income. I was going and giving this girl locations, but I have another service that I don't, it's like my high ticket service
Mhm.
where if you pay me $5,000 or $10,000, tell you what to do, I'll go do it for you. Boom, there you go. Got
Mhm.
everything set up. But I was doing it for my $1,000 service. Like I'm
Mhm.
like, here go a spot.
Yeah.
Here, do this. Call them, tell them this. And so you just have to differentiate the tiers and
Yeah.
what you want to offer in each tier. And if you only want to have just one offer, that is perfectly fine. Definitely focus on what you want to give. Don't feel pressured because there's a coach that's coaching for $25,000 and they have all of these bells and whistles and everything like that. That's okay. It's tiers for a reason. If
Yes.
your clients is the $20 clients or the $500 clients, that's perfectly fine. I don't really like to do anything for $20, I'm not gonna lie, but
I feel you. So I'm glad we're talking about money. So how did you go about pricing your first offer? And what advice could you give listeners who are afraid to charge for their expertise?
you have to assess the value that you are giving. And mind you,
Mhm.
I told you I was on the phone with these people for like 3 hours, giving them the whole blueprint game plan. So I just said 295. That's basically $300
Uh-huh.
for a conversation. I would talk to them for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that would charge like $300 for 30 minutes.
Yep. That is
Trust me, I
very
paid
true.
somebody 350 for 30 minutes before. But I mean, people will pay for it. Like they pay $500 for hair. So and I'm teaching
Facts.
you something that's going to get you a lot of money. I'm talking about $10,000 to $30,000 a month
Mhm.
profit. $10,000 to $30,000 a month profit. So I mean, the value of it is there. And then I didn't, if I'm charging $300, then that's the only serious people are going to pay $300. They're going to show up. And
Mhm.
then at that point, they still might not do what I say, but at
Yeah.
least, they didn't waste my time.
Time.
I got paid
Yeah.
for it. So So that's how I did that. And then the 3-month coaching, I hit that with $1,000, which I need to increase the price, but I just dropped that at $1,000 because again, it's the value of it. I'm meeting with you weekly, once a week for 3 months. I'm going through walking you step by step through opening up an event space. And then I was going to get in like other people to come and talk to them, event
Yeah.
planners, commercial realtors, funding specialists. It's way more valuable than a thousand
Yeah, $2.
dollars anyway. But
No,
so
I think that's
you just have to weigh the value.
and I'm glad you share that because, like, I think when people can connect their time, like the value of their time, and most importantly, from even what you're sharing, it's the value that you're giving people so that they hit their goals. It's not for you to know if they're going to do the action or not, because you want to give people solid advice, but like knowing that it's not gonna benefit someone to chart like, I know people like, "I wish why did everybody gotta chart? Because I see people talking about, like, coaching complaining essentially. But the thing about it is that people don't always value things that they get for free. And if you do a $20 session and you're giving somebody knowledge so that they're able to make $200,000, would you really be okay knowing that you only charge them $20 for them to make 200,000?
I did in 2020, I did an event planner workshop. It was only
Mhm.
$20. It was virtual. It was a group call. A lot of people did not show up. And
Yep.
the event planners were calling me, cursing me out. Like, why you gonna teach all these people that you're gonna have all these event planners? I said, no, I'm not. And a lot of people didn't show up. And the people that did show up, girl, the people that did show up, only 3 of them went forward and actually started an event planning business. And
Mhm.
only 2 of them are still in business. So yeah.
Wow.
But I won't do
Well,
that again for $20.
I think we all have had that lesson. Anyone that's coached and done stuff, you're like, even now with some of the ebooks, is I'm like, I'm not going. The thought of having dependent, and I think too is like how you shared about knowing the value on certain things. Like, I don't need to give the whole world. Like, if I'm on a coaching call for with someone on this one thing, I have to make sure I'm not allowing scope creep. That now I'm doing this other part and understanding that the
Mm.
clearer you are about what it is, because I feel like sometimes what happens is like if someone does an ebook, like they're trying to sell it for $30, they're trying to provide the world, realizing that you don't need to provide the world for $30 unless you're someone that has a million followers and you can get 10% of them to spend, the $30, which that's not the average person on social media. Is like, again, what kind of result can someone that actually do what I recommend? How much money can it make? And making sure
Mhm.
that you're charging according to it because we've all probably have been victim like to purchasing, oh, it was only $10. I bought it and you never open. I mean, there's some courses I know I bought that were like almost $900 that I still haven't made it to the end. Granted, this one that I'm thinking of specifically that is a great course, but all of her training videos are like an hour, and I do not know who told her to do her workshops, her modules. They're an hour and a half long.
Pause it and come back.
I'm like hour and a half. The first video I opened, I'm like an hour and a half for the first video. Like, my goodness,
Like, dang,
this
just got here.
it's 6 videos, so it's like an 8-hour day. So I'm just not making it through it. Um, because I like to try to watch a video and then I try to do what they're talking about when you're stuffing it with so much stuff, it's like, how do I even get into action? So I think again, it's just understanding what's going to be the best route for however you want to implement the tools that we're talking about. So I would love for you to share, Jasmine, how can people connect with you and learn more about what you do?
Whew.
All 6 social
So
media.
on social media, right? That's why I was like, Lord Jesus. My personal Instagram, it has all of my other Instagrams linked pretty much. So it's Coldest Life with a K. So it's KOLD as in dog, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, LIFE. One word, no dots, no parentheses, nothing. Just straight Coldest Life. That's my personal platform, and it will take you to all of my other Instagrams. And then as far as TikTok, it's Coldest Life on TikTok as well. It's Coldest Life on YouTube. And yeah, that's all y'all need to know, y'all. You will get lost.
So and I'll
You
make
will
sure to
get
have
lost.
all of her contact information in the show notes. So I just want to thank you for being a guest today. Also, thank you for all for listening to today's episode. I hope you're able to get some notes. And some things that you can think about implementing inside of your business. And if you're ready to get more expertise on how to do your own event venue or how to get into event planning, definitely make sure to go and check out her information and do her download that she might have in her courses and resources. So as always, it's always about understanding how to use your skills and your strengths to be able to grow your business and scale the way that you're desiring to scale. And if you have loved this episode, please take a time to subscribe and comment below because I always want to hear back from you in this community because you are valued and I want to hear how you're winning. So we'll have this episode posting and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.